Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews where today I have ourselves a track from an act named Enno titled I Would Have Said. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on YouTube. We're going to be listening through the song from start till finish. We're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Kind of charming with those clean guitars, isn't it? With the unusual progressions in the beltry.
It's times like this that make me miss your laugh. Oh, every time I feel like
Parallel major.
I just sit and think of you calling. You got me wrapped up in lies so deep that I cannot hide my doubts. I was drowning in it all. What can I do? What can I say? If I had the chance, I would tell you everything I hate. Tell you all about the things you made me go through now. I drown it out. I would tell you all about your mistakes. Tell you how much I hate your face. You never loved me. You already moved on.
Such a seamless transition between the verse, bridge, and chorus sections there. Great to have the extra oomph of these sort of guitars with the bass and drums and all that. But it was nice also to have those the melodic sort of sung parts. And the verses is nice to also have different chord progressions and little bits of difference between the instrumental parts in each section. It's not something you can take for granted, you know?
And I guess that it all makes sense why I feel this way. Have you read those texts? You know what you said, you know what you've done, you know on the ride is all for the fun. And I keep on wasting my time sitting here writing these lines. I know that I've got a lot to get finished. Just a couple more words in this sentence. Tell me now, did you ever think of doing this to anyone else? I would tell you everything I hate. Tell you all about the things you made me go through now. I drown it out. I would
Great field transition there.
tell your mistakes. Tell you how much I hate your face. You never loved me. You already moved on.
And like a little bit of tension there in that last chord before the new part. I just also want to give a shout out to the vocal fry. It's incredibly distinctive. Like I can easily recognize the singer from the way they do that specific type of fry there in some of those parts. How they push. It's great.
Would you ever tell me if it was real? Would you ever even care how I feel?
Bit of tremolo picking here to
I've waited for this moment. Now I got exactly what I wanted. Used to think that I never want to feel this, but every moment has been grateful that it's ended. All my life, I'm grateful for this moment. You dug the grave and it left me feeling haunted. You were the path of an every situation. No matter what I went through, you were always so complacent. Playing me, or your problem, but my back is the hole. All I ever did was try to play this for the hole.
and the power behind that, for there to just be that massive lift, for it to just come out and sort of fade into the ether like that. You got that beautiful melody on the underside, but you've got him getting more and more ferocious on the mic, talking about how that person was complacent and how like they blamed him, everyone on him and everything like that, even though all they was trying to do was build a home. With the pretty motif at the start, nice loop around.
What would I say? I would tell you everything I hate. Tell you all about the things you made me go through now. I drown it out. I would tell you all about your mistakes. Tell you how much I hate your face.
A little variety here. Interesting little bit of key and synth work at the end. When I said a little bit of variety there, what I meant was there were varying. There was a different way of the lyrics being in the chorus. I think the last chorus had different lyrics based on what was happening in that earlier sort of interlude section there, where things kind of built like that, or at least it was a response to the what would I say now? What am I going to say to your face? Kind of thing they said before the final chorus. Really strong track. Let's talk about it more in the conclusion. Welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Enno, titled I Would Have Said. What do I think this track is about? I think this song is firmly about someone who is going, they've come out of a toxic relationship. They've gone through some real difficulties with this person that they're with. And they're simply basically asking themselves, what would I say to this person? Like, after reflecting on what went wrong in the relationship, because they've clearly still got some anger, some stuff that they want to communicate. They wish they could have said the stuff to this person, or they would have regardless. And it's just being open and honest about the way the situation made them feel. And they feel better, I think, not being in that situation anymore. But at the same time, as I've said, they still need to let out. So it's complicated. I think that the way that we sung with the clean parts and the verse parts, a bit of vocal modulation occasionally as well, with the rougher, grittier parts of vocal frying, the growling and stuff like that, and the hook sections, getting more and more kind of dire as we went into the hooks. And there were also bits where it's sort of like multi-tracking with some clean parts and some sort of growls. I thought all of the different styles we put forward were well handled, and they were nice and present in the mix. I would have liked a little bit more sort of like presence in the first chorus. I think we could have potentially had more sort of like space in the vocals somehow, like I don't know whether it would have been slight more compression or like doing another kind of double take on top, but I also understand the fact that we're maybe just trying to talk about this from a soloist perspective. So, trying to do the thing where like you have more than one vocal might sort of take away from that aesthetic. But there were some really intriguing vocal melodies there. We screamed our hearts out. We were more reasonable in some of our approaches as well, like when we was explaining stuff in the verses. What would I say to you? We're sort of questioning to ourselves and kind of having a moment of sort of clarity there. We're like, well, what actually would I say to you? I like that we're not just singing and growling, but we're also talking. We're exploring the whole range of what we're capable of there. And it makes for a more interesting track. And I think that, with all those things considered, it's just a really wonderful vocal performance. I'm very, very happy with it. The way we emoted as a performer matches well with the tone, the emotions that are present in the actual, like, the story. And I think it's one of the most well done, like genuinely well done connections between vocals and lyrics I've heard in quite a while there. I think everything was appropriate for the mood and vibe we're aiming for. And it was, it was transcendent. So well done on that front. The track at 3 minutes 42 is wonderfully within the 2 to 4 minute sweet spot there. Really well staged there. We don't go under, we don't go over. I think we had a variety of different sort of like verse, bridges, and choruses with like an instrumental intro there with the guitars and the bell trees, and there's some basses as well with the drums coming in a bit later on there. Some leads and synths and stuff as we go along. Lots of awesome stuff there. We really fleshed out the arrangement really well, and there was a variety of different sections with different chord progressions and stuff. We allowed some bars to go a little bit over what we necessarily need to. We didn't just let the hook line stay the same throughout the entire track. There are little bits of variety to how the vocals were layered, and like the outro chorus, for example, where there was a bit more going on. And so while I typically would have have wanted an extra lead line over the last chorus, just because I'm a bit greedy like that, I know that's kind of a cliche to have like a lead guitar or something over like the final one. But there was leads anyways. There were like lead guitars or overdubs in the chorus sections. There was like chorus and reverb or something over top of the distorted rhythm parts on the side. So don't worry about that. I think it would have actually, I take it back completely, because I think it might have been a bit busy if you had the leads, traditional leads with the rhythms on the sides. I think if you had a variety with the vocals, or a variation of it, should I say, that's what I was looking for in the final chorus. So no, it's more than enough. There were lots of little nuances with how the guitar was played anyways throughout the piece. I mean, like, we had power chords in the chorus with like sort of misty, reverb laden, sort of like delay-ish kind of tones there, kind of spread into ether. We had wonderfully clean sort of strummed open chords on the steel strings in the intros there. So arpeggiated bits and little bits of picking occasionally, but whatever the case we never overplayed on the guitar. We explored triads that made sense there. There were some unusual chords there, to be fair. Like, I think the fourth chord of the track was I'm not quite sure. I'd probably have to go and figure that out, but it's definitely not a traditional major or minor. And I like the fact that we've got a bit of tension there. We're not allowing it just to be an easy listening experience, especially in a track where they're going through so much hardship and turmoil. It kind of reminded me of a lot of music like sort of like Breaking Benjamin from like the mid 2000s. And I think that that's not a bad thing. A lot of that music was great from that period there. It wasn't as solo or lead heavy as some of the guitar music is nowadays, but it was more focused on the vocals, and I think that's absolutely fine. The guitars served the vocals well. The bass that we had in this was fantastic. It was nice and present without being too overwhelming, suited the root notes really well, captured and sort of strengthened that low end there. Very satisfying to listen through, and had a great sense of unison with the drums as well, which were fantastic. We had a very sort of like conscious awareness of how we wanted the different grooves and transitions to go like between halves of the chorus and stuff like that. We didn't overplay with the drums, we pocketed the wide variety majority of the time, which I think was good, because if we had too much sort of difference there, it might have almost seemed like a bit too much. Sometimes you just need a steady hand on the kit, you know what I mean? But it was nice and heavy when it needed to be in the hook sections. Sort of came away a little bit in some of the verse parts there. It was a bit more minimalist. And yeah, it suited the dynamics of this particular situation. Any other synths or sub-layers that we had there basically fleshed out and created a sense of dimensionality within the arrangement that suited it well. And I think overall there wasn't a note out of place. The performance was nice and tight with, again, a variety of different riffs and chops in there to keep the listener entertained on top of the lyrics and the story, or engaged at least. You know, and again, it's not nice to hear a person going through that stuff, but it's important because it's part of the human experience. Music doesn't need to be nice in order to be good. The theme mirrored a sense of struggle, resentment, rage, and anger. And even though there was a bit of beauty, I think that came from maybe the realization of the fact that we were aware of what the situation was. Maybe it was meant to mirror the fact that part of us, we were glad that we understood how we felt about that person and what we were going to say. But there was just too much kind of like, still needed a release. You know, that's what I got from the theme there with the minor chords, the edginess of the tones and the transitions and stuff like that. But with the sheen of the high end as well, kind of simmering on top. The studio recording, mixing, mastering was on point. It's nice and it's very well done. Again, apart from wanting a bit more oomph from the vocals in the first chorus, really happy with how they're presented. They are nice and present in the mix, and they're just really good vocal takes taken for the most part. I think that the guitars, bass, and drums were niched right nicely in the frequency spectrum, as well as the stereo field, and there was dynamic range to the piece. It wasn't the same loudness all the time, like the interlude had just kept rising up and up, getting more and more sort of intense and coming down like that. It was nice to have that change in intensity there. It allowed us to have a bit of a break and a bit of a respite from what we'd just absorbed. The instruments were recorded well as well. I don't think there were any issues there, no weird sort of quirks or noises. There's no uncomfortable parts in here, and even if there was close to that, it was simply to mirror what was going on with the themes of the track. But it was still nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression limiting was handled. And effectively, at the end of the day, that is my review of this track from an act named Enno, titled I Would Have Said, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go check out the various social medias and YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they help more than ever thought of crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.